Hi, we're back today, and our task at hand is to look at the perfect irregular verbs, and we've certainly seen a number of irregular verbs in the future as well as the second aorist in the last chapter. So let me do everything I can to help you learn these words. And again, we're using substitute words and pictures. So let's get started here. We have Professor Oddity here with the perfect irregulars. And you see the little perfect parrot that's going to help us in these pictures. All right, our first word, akuo, I hear. And the perfect active indicative there is akekoa, I have heard. Now notice our picture. We have a cake right in the middle of acoustical tile. So a cake for akekoa has heard through acoustical tile from the perfect parrot. He's blasting a noise through the acoustical tile. Our next word here, egero, I raise up, and the perfect middle passive here, egegermai, I have been raised up. And this is certainly an important word in the New Testament having to do with the resurrection of Jesus, often translated as he is risen. So our picture here, we have an egg acre. You'll see the acre with this huge egg. Egegermai has been raised up by a hand holding an egero. And that was our substitute word for egero way back in chapter 1. Our next verb, erchomai, this is deponent in the present, I come, but when it gets to the second perfect tense, it's elelutha, I have come. So what's our picture? We have an L lying on lu for elelutha, has come, saying, here come I. And the words here come I remind us of erchomai. So, erchomai elelutha. Our next word, horao. We saw the future form of this in chapter 7, opsamai. Well, the second aorist, the perfect here is heoraka. I have seen, heoraka. So what do we have here? A heor on this raft has seen the parrot on land and cried out, hooray, for horao. So a heor has seen the parrot and cried out, hooray, for horao. Our next word, gnosko, I know. In the perfect it becomes egnoka, I have known. And you'll see here a picture of an egg yolk for egnoka with this graduation cap, has known more than you think you know. And that stands for gnosko. Lambano, I take or I receive. And the perfect here is elepha, I have received, elepha. So what do we have here? An elephant for elepha has received a lambasting from the parrot. All right, pasco, I suffer. The perfect here is pepanta, pepanta, I have suffered. So what do we have here? A pet on the, for pepanta, has suffered because he didn't pass go. So pet on the for pepantha has suffered because he didn't pass go. And pass go reminds us of the verb pasco. All right, the verb lego, I say. In the perfect, it's ereka, I have said. So what do we have in the picture? An erake for ereka has said lego to the parrot, who hangs on for dear life. All right, ginomai, I become. The perfect here, second perfect, because it doesn't have the kappa, becomes gegana, I have become. So this fellow says to his identical mask, a gag on you, for gegana, has become a kin of mine. And kin of mine reminds us of ginomai. All right, we have some practice here, and I'm going to hit my pause button and would ask that you do the same, and we'll come back and compare. All right, the first sentence should be translated as, we have heard the word of God. Ake koamen, perfect active indicative, first person plural, from akuo. Number 2, I have suffered these things in my heart because you have sinned against me. Now, hemarte kas here is the perfect active indicative, second person singular. You have sinned, from hamartano. Pepantha, that's from pasco, perfect active indicative, first person singular. Number 3, Philip finds Nathanael and says to him, we have found the Christ or the Messiah. Heurekamen, from heurisco, perfect active indicative, first person plural, we have found. Number 4, the evil one of this world has been judged. Kekritai is from krino. So we have reduplication here, and then we have our middle passive. So perfect middle passive indicative, third person singular. The evil one of this world has been judged. And number 5, Lazarus has been raised from the tomb. Egegertai, perfect middle passive indicative, third person singular. So Lazarus has been raised from the tomb. All right, let's do some more. I'll hit my pause button. All right, now that we're back, let's compare. Number 1, pepoithen. This comes from patho, that means I trust or I persuade. This is a perfect active indicative, third person singular. So he has trusted in Jesus. Number 2, and in this we know that we have known him. Egnokamen, perfect active indicative, first person plural, we have known. And number 3, and this is the judgment that the light, and then aleluthen, perfect active indicative, third person singular, has come into the world. And this is from John 3. Number 4, even we have believed the love which God has in us. Pepistukamen, perfect active indicative, first person plural, from pistuo. And number 5, I have heard these things and I will preach them. Keruxo, future active indicative, first person singular. All right, let's do a couple examples from the New Testament. From John 5, and here Jesus is speaking to his religious critics. Let's pronounce this. Ala egnoka humas hati tein agapein tu theou uk echata en heautois. The translation, but I have known you, that you do not have the love of God in yourselves. Now, the simple present could have been used from gnosko, I know. However, with the use of the perfect tense, Jesus' emphasis is upon his total and complete knowledge of the religious authorities, of such intensity that he speaks of this in the perfect tense. I have known you. Past time extended results. That he perceives that they're void of the love of God. And one more example here. Let's pronounce this. And this is from Martha at the prior to the raising of Lazarus from the dead. Lege auto, nai, kurie, ego pepistuka, hati su ha Christos, ha huiastu theou, ha est tan kasman erchamenon. All right, she says to him, yes, Lord, I have believed that you are the Christ, the Messiah, ha huiastu theou, the Son of God, ha est tan kasman erchamenos, the one who is coming into the world. Now, pepistuka, perfect, active, indicative, first person singular. I have believed. Now, in the preceding verse, Jesus asked Martha if she believes what he has said. His question is stated using the simple present indicative. Do you believe? Pistues. Martha's response affirms her believing condition. I have believed. So thanks, and I trust that this session has been helpful to you.